buildings along the Las Vegas Strip and all the action here. This is one of the city's biggest attractions. Allegiant Stadium opened back in 2020. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Smith going to look to throw right away. Short throw caught by Bowers. The game's first play produces 6 yards. Brings up 2nd down.
Nice rhythm throw there on 1st down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. This 2nd and 4. Now a first carry here for the running back. And the hole closes quickly there. He gets maybe a couple up to the 38.
That's all about doing the dirty work right there defensively. 2nd and short yardage, that's all about plugging those gaps, not giving a running back a crease to run through, and has a nice job to hold him just a couple and force a 3rd down.
An early task, 2 plays in. This is 3rd and 2. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And boy, he is very close to a 1st down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short.
I'll bet they thought they had picked that one up because it was a 3rd and 2 call, and they got awfully close. Now we're at 4th and inches. I wonder if they think they're feeling lucky here and maybe want to go pick it up.
And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. And the LA offense ready for this next possession. Herbert going to lead up the Chargers here, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up.
On that play, it was the defensive front that won the battle. They out-leveraged the offensive line, got into the backfield, and held him to no gain.
The rush defense stout on 1st down. Here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. Here's Herbert. Throwing quickly there, but it's incomplete.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
They come up to the line now facing a 3rd and 10 after the incompletion. Here's Herbert. That ball caught by the rookie from Georgia. And he is going to have the Chargers 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Well, we always hear about the connections some quarterbacks have with certain receivers. I think this guy has a connection with just about everyone. Didn't mind throwing it in there against double coverage to him.
Shows some confidence, supreme confidence.
Big-time confidence that he would make the play for him, and he did.
And they'll let the quarterback keep it here on 1st and 10. 6 yards there on the keeper. It's 2nd down.
Oh, man, that wasn't far from breaking in a big way into the secondary. Read option, quarterback kept it. And while he didn't get a 1st down, he did get a nice chunk of yardage. Only a nice tackle prevented it from maybe going all the way.
From the 44 now, here's 2nd and 4. Back to throw here, Herbert. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. Call that a loss of a yard, and things get a little more difficult here, 3rd and 5.
And we constantly talk about people being on the same page. In this situation, the two of them saw the play with the same eyes. They understood where the open spaces were going to be, and they found a way to get there to pick up a new set of downs.
Justin Herbert looking to pass. Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete.
1 1st down here, and that's all, folks. Good work by this defense to hold things in check and force a punting situation.
On fourth down, J.K. Scott ready to punt it away. A 41-yard punt there with no return. And the Raider drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. Second drive of the game coming up for this Las Vegas offense. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 and out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession to try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses.
Without a doubt. They're the ones that typically end up in the end zone.
Denzel Perryman there to bring him down.
Nice chunk of yards on first down. It really opens up your options for what you want to do on second. You go right back to him and hope he explodes, or sucker the defense in before throwing over the top.
A shotgun snap for Smith. That's going to be caught. It's Jacoby Myers. And he almost gets this to the 30, taken down about a yard shy. First catch for him. It's good for a dozen and a first down.
Well, this is where reading defenses and practice time comes into play. You've got to know what you're running versus zone versus man and how to run the proper route. And they just executed that one pretty well.
Now Smith. It's Myers again with another catch. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. Another catch for him there. This one good for 11, first down.
But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
Throwing now is Geno. That one's complete out to Michael Mayer. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
So from Charger territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 46. Geno now to throw. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. That's sacked by Khalil Mack.
I thought there at the end he may have had a chance to release that, but that pocket closed a little too quickly and down he went.
Yeah, he was certainly trying to do everything he could to extend the life of the play, probably counting in his head 1, 2, and then he ran out of time.
That's out to the left, flat and complete. They'll give him 4 yards there, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 11 situation. Backed up here, tough spot, needing 11 yards to pick up the first. Smith. Now they go screen, it's complete. And he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. They'll get only a yard out of that, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Boy, that one was well read defensively, and this is all about diagnosis as a safety and being decisive because he saw it setting up in front of him, able to knife through there and make the play.
On 4th down, A.J. Cole comes on to punt. Out of bounds as he appeared to be looking for the corner. He got it. They're going to mark this at the 4-yard line. The Chargers get set to go here for their second drive. And they will start this drive with just terrible field position, backed up inside their own 5.
But we have seen teams be bold here and take shots, right? Sometimes you go max protection, make it a one-receiver route, and take your shot downfield and see what happens. And occasionally, we've seen success occur.
And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down.
Well, that was his first target of the game, and it's going to take at least one more target to get him on the board. Took a nice substantial hit to jar that catch loose from him. Incomplete pass.
Now a 2nd and 10.
Now a give right side. It's Hampton. And that won't buy him much room. Just a 1-yard gain to the 5.
Well, that's a good start to this drive on the defensive side of the ball.
Force the incompletion on 1st down. Then you're able to shut down the running play on 2nd.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised now. A little bit of pressure going at the quarterback in an expected passing situation.
Facing the prospect of a punt from their own end zone, they need some cushion. Let's see what they can do on 3rd down. And he'll take this forward only up to about the 7. 3 yards won't be enough here as that'll bring up 4th down.
We often talk of situational football. Let's just call it team football. The defense did their job, got off the field, brought up a punting situation, so they're turning the ball back over to their offense. You think those guys will get along very well right now? Of course they will. Defense helped the offense. Now it's their turn to take it downfield.
Now a fair catch taken just across midfield, maybe by a yard or 2. A 40-yard punt, no return. And this offense takes over in great shape right at the 50, 1st and 10. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10, right at the 50-yard line.
Hands it off out of the gun.
And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up.
Well, the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back to huddle and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run, but the goal, shut it down for 2 yards or less. That's when you start to feel good about yourselves.
Here's Smith. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll go out of bounds after taking it a little further down inside the 40. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a 1st down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
Well, what they're seeking with an RPO is space for the receiver to make a catch and then make a play downfield, but there wasn't any space available, thus the incompletion.
Smith, an incomplete pass on 1st down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Now Geno.
And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much.
Just a little beyond the reach there of his receiver. That's probably one he wishes he had back.
He wishes it had been 7-on-7 in practice, or maybe even routes versus air, because that's a completion he makes, 9.9 times out of 10? Just missed that one.
Now a play fake, and it's Smith. Being chased out left. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. Umpire threw the flag, usually always indicates holding, and that's what we've got.
And you know, depending on their positioning, where you are on the field, the umpires get different responsibilities, but always, always making sure no one's holding.
3rd and 10 wasn't going to be easy. Now after the holding penalty, they have to deal with a 3rd and 20. Out of the gun, Smith.
Oh, this will be incomplete. The rush gets home just as he was letting that go. That could have been worse. Instead, it's 4th down.
They're bringing a lot of pressure here already in the first quarter. Already sacked him once. Now they get in there and knock another one away. You think maybe that Tucker rule being gone makes defenses a lot bolder?
Yes, indeed. That time, lucky that the arm was going forward. Incomplete pass. And he's getting a workout here in this first quarter as he gets it away. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback.
The Chargers ready to take over.
We've seen both of these offenses still sort of in that figuring things out phase, but I suspect some action on the scoreboard soon as they start out here 1st and 10. Now Herbert with it, looking to pass. He gets it complete to Harris. And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds. That's good. The completion there for 7 yards, and that'll bring up second down. Now movement up front. I think they're going to get one of the Charger linemen. So pin that one on the rookie right tackle.
Remember those days when the right side was simply the run-blocking side? Now you're dealing with some of the better pass rushers in the league. It'll make you a little jittery.
They were looking good on second down, but now they're backed up 5 yards by the false start, and it's 2nd and 8. From the shotgun, here's Herbert.
Finding Harris on back-to-back plays.
And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line.
9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
What I love about watching the passing game nowadays is that the one-dimensional receiver is really starting to leave the game. You've got to be able to do it all. Of course, you got to run fast. Of course, you got to catch the ball. But route running savvy and toughness, there's a premium for all of that now.
A shotgun snap for Herbert.
And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's second down.
I think that's how this defense is going to need to play these tight ends. They got to get right up on them and stay physical. And that paid off on that play, helping force that incompletion.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from about the 32. Out of the gun, Herbert.
Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
The coverage keyed in on him since that last completion his way. He earned a little more attention on that route, and that made it a lot tougher to get a clean throw his way.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Herbert off of play action. Steps away to his left. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44.
Herbert able to show his wheels as he gets the first.
He's a talented runner, and that means he's always looking for bigger and bigger gains when he takes off. Certainly found some bonus yards there beyond the first down marker, and this early drive will continue with that extra jolt from his legs.
No score after one on EA Sports. Charger football to start quarter number 2. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Up the middle they go. Hampton, and he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's 2nd down.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
2nd and 6.
They'll keep it on the ground. It's Hampton, and he still has yet to get on track in this first half as they're going to stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now 3rd down coming up.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping.
And that'll be a free 5 yards for the offense.
Just like a tennis match, that's just an unforced error. Stay alert, don't jump early, and give them free yardage.
And the penalty, a big assist to this offense. Now it's 3rd and 3. Now it's Herbert.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he is going to have the Chargers first down as they convert on 3rd and 3 with a nice gain of 7 yards.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size, can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a first down.
Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it, and it's 2nd down.
This could be the start of a nice stand from this defense now after getting walked backwards on this drive. come through with another one here, and you have them staring at a 3rd and long, and that puts the defense in a position to dictate to the offense.
Herbert now. A short throw to Conklin, the tight end.
They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
This offense has converted 2 third downs on this drive already. This is 3rd and 4. Herbert.
He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete.
They converted twice on 3rd down that drive already, but couldn't make it a 3rd. We always talk about in-game adjustments. How about what the defense did there, able to shut them down on that attempt?
Cameron Dicker on now to try the field goal.
From the left hash, this from 53 yards out. And this one looks good. It is good. Right down the pipe, and the Chargers grab themselves a 3-0 lead.
So, Charles, they are on the board after that kick. So 3 drives, 3 points. Obviously not the start that you were hoping for, but they're able to erase that 0 off the scoreboard.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is a point a drive is not what offenses are striving for by any stretch. They're happy they've got 3 now. They hope that that unlocks their offense for bigger points down the road.
And here's Dicker now as he'll send this one away. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here right at the 30-yard line.
And now here come the Raiders. This one a little slow to get cooking. Just a 3-0 scoreline as they begin with a 1st and 10. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. 2nd down coming up.
Well, on every play call, you realize it's not going to go for a touchdown. So a lot of your calls are setting things up for maybe later in the game, trying to establish the inside run with toughness now, hopefully get to the perimeter later. And let's face it, you could do worse than a 4-yard run on 1st down.
Now it's Smith. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Give him a 1st down, 15 yards that time for the Raiders.
But they certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the 1st half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball possibly in the open field. And I think in the 2nd half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves them with 2 to go on 2nd down.
So that run play nullified by the holding call on the tight end.
Yeah, I just think he needs to get off the ball a lot quicker and get into the block a little bit more effectively. Then he doesn't have to reach and grab and try and hold on.
And he's got his man in stride, complete. Not able to go anywhere that time. 2nd down.
If you're a wide receiver and they call a screen pass, you're counting on some people being out in front of you blocking. But that play was well diagnosed by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. And they got there and swarmed and finished off the play.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry.
And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
No chance to get away there for Smith as he goes down. The defense rising to the challenge and setting him back on the sack.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw up a better pass rush than that one right there. Nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. A good kick, 49 yards, just 3 on the return. And it'll be Charger football here as they take over.
The offense for Los Angeles returns to the field.
It's been very much a slow start for them. 3 drives and just the 3 points, CD.
Yeah, if you're into the points per drive ratio, that answer is 1. And that's not going to get it done in a ball game. They've got to find a way to finish these drives in end zones, not having balls go through goalposts.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Give him 13 yards on the opening play of the drive and also give him a first down. There was a little space there, yes, but that was a well-executed run by the rookie.
It was, and he wasn't one of the higher-rated rookie running backs coming out. He's probably on the next tier. But let me tell you something. If he becomes more consistent and continues to have that drive to be one of the best, we'll see more of that in the future.
Now this one finds McConkey.
They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and it's 2nd down. They'll try the left side. Hampton, and he'll get it out a couple yards shy of midfield at the 48. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
That's a good, nice, crisp run for a first down. I wonder if the defense might have been loosened up a little bit, maybe anticipating a pass instead of the run that they got.
Here's Herbert. Forced out to his left. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
They made a nice effort to stick him with a loss for that play, but it's going to take more than that to keep him from advancing the ball. Should be an entertaining battle anytime he tucks and runs over the second half of this contest.
From the 47, it's 2nd and 5.
Now a handoff up the middle. It's Hampton, and the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
Well, if they continue to run the football this strong, right up the middle, I don't know if they can wait till halftime to make adjustments. They better find a way to get it done series to series. I don't know if they need to sub some guys out, bring in extra people, maybe change what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. But right now, they're running the ball very well right out of and right up the middle.
And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30-yard line. Now, those linemen, of course, can't be more than a yard downfield when a pass is thrown, and they might have been able to call that on a couple of guys there. They'll try the air now with Herbert. That one complete to McConkey.
As a passer, you're always trying to find that open window to throw the ball downfield. How about this one? Right in the middle of the field, right in the heart of a defense.
From the 33, here's 2nd and 6.
Here's Herbert.
Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. And the Raiders are going to get the football here as he gets this up past the 20-yard line.
They'll start on the ground here on first down. Up past the 25 to the 26, a gain of 5.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. Only a couple there as he'll be brought down about the 28.
Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll be tackled about 2 yards shy of the line to gain. A 1-yard pickup leads to 4th down.
Well, it looks like they got what they wanted. They got the completion, but they weren't able to break any tackles or gain nearly enough yardage to pick up the first down. Now to be 4th and short.
Here's A.J. Cole now to punt this one away. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. A 47-yard punt, maybe a couple on the return.
And they will take over 1st and 10.
And now out on the field, here comes Los Angeles.
Not an ideal way to end their previous drive. They threw the interception, Charles, after they had built up some momentum. They were moving the football, but something to at least build on for this offense as they run back out here.
Yeah, you're right about that. Up until that last play, everything was working pretty well for this offense, gaining chunks of yardage, getting first downs, really making a push for the end zone, and looked like they had a nice rhythm going. Now you got to have a short memory here. Don't focus on the interception. Focus on what came before it and get back to it.
Justin Herbert looking to pass. Finds the open man. It's Mike Williams. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
Just need a yard here. 2nd and 1.
Back to throw here, Herbert. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Hampton. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle comes at the Raiders' 45-yard line. A nice pickup there, 10 yards.
Well, that was a pretty favorable situation there. What would you call that? 2nd and manageable? Smart play, too. Didn't force it downfield when he didn't have it. Just checked it down, let him get the first down, and that's exactly what he did.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it.
It certainly feels like there are more stars at the tight end position than there were even 10 years ago. And I think it's become more of a glamour position because of the ways it can hurt a defense, and guys want to be involved. They can be in line, close to the line of scrimmage. They can split out like receivers. But hands, route running, speed, and some toughness to go across the middle, you put it all together, you got a heck of a tight end candidate.
Here's 2nd and 3.
Again, Herbert. But he's got his target, Harris. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A gain there of 21 yards.
Well, they showed a 5-receiver set, had the backfield empty, and lined the running back out to the left. Plenty for the quarterback to process both pre- and post-snap. But he was able to find his man, and it turns into a big play.
And they'll burn the timeout with 5 seconds left. A chance to try to add 3 points before heading to the locker room. Now with 5 seconds left, not really enough time to run another play and then stop it, so on comes the field goal unit. This will be just a 21-yard attempt. And this one is right through. And they're able to double their lead just before half. It's 6-0.
So they're able to end that drive with 3 points in this one-possession ball game.
And ideally, you want to end every drive with points. Most quarterbacks would tell you, let's end it with a kick, right? A PAT, that's number 1. Field goal you'll take. Punts, you really don't want to do that. In this case, they'll take the field goal and get prepared for the rest of the game.
So with 3 seconds remaining in the half, they will line up to kick this one away. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. One final go for this offense here in this first half. And they'll have time for one play. That's it. 3 seconds to go before intermission.
Final play of the first half, barring a penalty, as they come up on 1st and 10. The final shot here before break. Smith. And he's going to go down. Couldn't get a throw off with the pressure. Maybe that was for the best, as that brings us to the end of this first half of play. Time for a break. We've hit halftime. 2 quarters down. 2 still remain. We step aside. This is the NFL on EA Sports. So the Chargers will start the second half with the lead and the football as we're underway in the third quarter. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. Out comes the Chargers as they'll go on offense now to start this third quarter.
And they've got the lead, CD. What do you expect from them in this second half?
Well, I like what they were able to do on the ground in the first half because they had a lot of success running the ball, and I certainly think we'll see more of that. But I'd keep an eye on that defense, and I think their coaches up in the box will do the exact same thing. If they start to see 1 or 2 guys start to creep towards the line of scrimmage, that'll be licensed to take some shots downfield.
Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it second down.
Well, you don't turn your nose up at a gain of 4, do you? They'll take that on first down. Playbook's got to be pretty well open on 2nd and 6.
Now a 2nd and 6.
They'll keep it on the ground. Hampton. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with 3rd down now looming.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
Here now, 3rd and a yard.
Up the middle they go. It's Hampton. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
52 yards rushing on 12 carries for him now.
Brandon, what were they thinking on defense there? That looked like they were playing for the pass. That was 3rd and short. Yeah, it was an easy pickup because they handed it to him. That was way too easy.
Just looked like absolute confusion defensively. Not sure why they were in that set.
Yeah, I'd say you ought to have a few men in the box there.
On 1st down. Hampton, no dice this go-around. He's hit behind the line and taken down. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks, and when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Looking left side, he's got it, complete. And he's going to have another 1st down as the tackle comes at the Raiders' 43. It'll go as a gain of 11 and a Charger first.
And that's the kind of play this offense needs to maybe kick them into gear a little bit. They've been stuck in neutral much of the game. Perhaps that can give them a little bit of confidence that big plays are out there.
Play action. It's Herbert.
Open man right side. That's McConkey.
So give them 5 yards there on the pitch and catch, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. Back to throw. Herbert looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Williams. Just his 2nd catch of the game so far. This one moves the chains. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front, defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
Now what we're seeing, this is much better from this offense because so far in this game, no touchdowns to this point. And what's usually a direct correlation? Very few explosive plays. That's been their issue, not able to make that big shot downfield or break one off, but a nice game there for a 1st down.
Yeah, he'll work free from 1 tackle, but that's about all as he's taken down.
It'll go as a gain of 4, and that will bring up 2nd down. Herbert throwing again. Escaping the pressure right. And he'll take this beyond the line of scrimmage as he slides to a halt. He'll wind up getting 4 there on his own, but it will leave him now with a 3rd down situation.
Kudos for the defense from me on that one because they were prepared the whole way for him to try to escape and hit them for more yardage running it. I like the way they stayed zeroed in on him and kept him contained when he pulled the ball down. I think he was fortunate to get what he did on that run.
And he's in for a Charger touchdown. Justin Herbert taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Chargers take the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. Well, they had their chances in the first half, you remember, but had to settle for 2 field goals. This time they come away with 6.
I think they actually got affirmation about what they were doing by getting a touchdown because the field goals means they got in range but couldn't quite finish it off. This time, they broke through, and that's great for the old confidence.
And on the sideline, difference of a feeling between 3 and 6, is it astronomical or no?
It can be at times, that's for sure. A lot of times the field goal feels like a disappointment. The touchdown, well, that tells you you're getting it done.
Now after the Dicker field goal, he's back out ready to send it away. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
So here comes the Raiders offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half.
And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to run the risk of falling behind substantially, but you have to do it without pressing, because pressing, that'll lead you into bigger errors.
Now throw right side here, going to be incomplete.
And that's the knowledge you gain from being in this league for a long time. He's learned the hard way when to give up and fight another down. And that's a smart move to throw it away.
Smith, an incomplete pass on first down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Geno now to throw. That's complete into the hands of Myers. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1.
So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down.
On 3rd down, they're going to run for it here. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down. So forget the 3 and out. The penalty makes this 1st and 10. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
It's interesting going into this game. There was so much talk from both sides about who would control the line of scrimmage. I think we've seen who has it in this one so far.
Well, they bottled him up. He's barely averaging over 3 yards a carry right now.
From the gun, he'll hand this off. And a strong run that time as he's across midfield and down to the 43. 47 yards rushing for him now as he's run it 11 times.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? Has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say maybe that gives him a little juice because you're right. He struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Brandon, 5 yards on that run. Let's get back to the huddle and make sure if you're a back, you spend time with your offensive line and give them credit. Hard to move those 300-plus pounders at the line of scrimmage, and they did for a significant chunk of yardage.
Quick throw there is incomplete.
His back has been a dependable safety valve all game, so he went back to him when his first read was covered. Just unable to connect, so the play results in no gain.
Play number 7 now coming up on the drive. 3rd and 5. Throwing is Smith. And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free, and it brings up 4th down.
When you run in the slant, timing is everything, and against that man coverage, there was no space available, and incompletion as a result.
So coming on now is the field goal unit. They're going to try for 3, and he'll need all the leg he's got here. And he has got it from 55 yards away. That was never in doubt. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3.
So the response to that touchdown on the other side to begin the 3rd quarter. Look, just 3 points, but still a response nonetheless.
You're exactly right about that, because I think you needed to answer back with something, even though it's not 6. Just enough to send the message that says, hey, we're not going away.
Oh, a good-looking return set up here.
And a good return, but he pays the price at the end of it as he's picked up and thrown down.
The Charger defensive unit making their way back out there.
This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles' defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways, because you know they're both motivated. They both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other. Now, Brandon, that's the way you want to run the football. There should almost be quote bubbles above the offense right now. Bam, boom, biff. That's how they feel good about moving the football.
And they'll send the tight end in motion here. Now Herbert with it, looking to pass. It's complete to Williams. And he's brought down.
A Charger first there as Herbert finds Williams.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing, because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the 3rd quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
Call it a gain of 6 on the play, and that'll make it 2nd down. They'll fake the handoff. Now Herbert. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a 1st down.
As he came to the line of scrimmage, he knew he didn't need much to reset the chain. So when he saw the space he needed, no hesitation. He went to the marker and got his guys a 1st down.
Looking to throw. Herbert. And he's got it. Nice gain of 8 that time, but it's 2nd and goal. They'll try to run this one in. And he pushes forward but comes up short of the goal line as he'll get a yard down to about the 1. So now things get interesting on 3rd and goal from the 1.
This almost becomes a Darwinian call, doesn't it? Almost survival of the fittest here. I know we can go all cliche. I'll go ahead and do it. Who wants it more here? Who has a better leverage at the line of scrimmage? Let's go and see what happens.
And he got a little aggressive too early.
And he did, wanting that quick takeoff as the ball was snapped, but I think sometimes those big guys on offense, they're pretty cagey too, right? They make those little sudden moves or those little subtle moves that get you to jump.
The ball placed just outside of the end zone as they come up again on another 3rd and goal. They'll try to run this one in. And this time he is in.
Yes.
It's a 1-yard touchdown run as his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead.
So the 2nd down run didn't work. They run it again on 3rd down and get in. I wasn't sure if they might pass it, Charles. We know that they like to mix it up. down here around the goal line.
Yeah, almost felt like the offensive line said, forget mixing it up. Let's call our favorite running play over our best blockers, and let's get this one in.
So after the touchdown, here's Dicker out to kick this one off. And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27.
The Raiders offense now, they trot back out.
And really, Charles, not much of a surprise that they're losing. They just haven't been able to get much of anything going in the pass game. And as you well know, in today's NFL, if the passing game isn't working, usually not much else is working either.
You're exactly right about that, partner. And I know that right now the easy answer would be, hey, let's run the football. But that might not be everything you need. So despite the fact that they've struggled throwing it, they've got to find some type of a play, multiple plays, that puts the ball in the air and allows for them to have some success.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score. Was that a receiver? Yeah, actually it was. It was a running back who was a receiver on the play. Ike's been spending time in the receiver drills getting his feet down.
Well, those guys out of the backfield, they got to be good, agile with their feet. He showed the agility there with a toe tap.
No doubt about it. It's like he'd went to ballet school. Got the toes down and stayed in bounds.
From the gun on third down, Smith.
Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he is going to have the Raiders first down by about a yard. It's a gain of 5 on 3rd and 4.
Back now in Las Vegas. Welcome back, everybody. It's Raider football here, but they're on the short side of the scoreboard right now as we begin the 4th. Smith. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. Give him a first down, 15 yards that time for the Raiders.
A 3-score game here late. You can probably rule out the comeback, but certainly some kind of a moral victory to be had if they can get a few more points to close things out. And to that end, a nice pass play there to push things downfield.
Yeah, and we know in this league, a loss is a loss, and no one wants anything to count as a moral victory.
And it's a fumble.
But it looks like one of the DBs has it.
And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
That's a play to take note of there for the defense. I think in the future, if you're going to try and block him, maybe you get a guard to help double team him and try and steer him out of the play. They should have done it on that snap.
Play action this time for Justin Herbert. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's out of bounds, able to take this one up to the 35.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
On third down, it's Hampton, and he's going to be taken down at the 39, clearly short of the first by a few yards. 4 yards on the pickup there, but it's going to take him to 4th down.
Now that was a big-time play by the defense. They as well knew where the first down line was, and they didn't let him get anywhere near it.
Here's J.K. Scott now as he's on to punt for L.A. Fielded at the 20. That'll go as a 39-yard punt, give him 9 on the return. And the Raiders will take over now 1st and 10. The Raider offense now making their way toward the huddle.
Even though they were able to force the punt defensively, still a big hole to climb out of, especially at this late stage of the contest.
Back to throw, Smith.
And this one too low.
Well, it just seems like all game long there hasn't been a lot of sync quarterback to wide receiver on this side of the football.
They haven't been on the same page, quarterback and receivers. Heck, they haven't been on the same grease board when you draw plays up. They haven't been on the same Surface tablet that you look at on the sidelines. Nothing's worked for them. They've got to find a way to start matching each other's movements.
A short throw, and that's hauled in by Mayer.
They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4. Now, that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point. They continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
Now Geno.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he is going to have the Raiders first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Well, those are the types of plays they probably wish they had made more of in the first 3 quarters. And this deficit going to be tough to overcome here in the 4th. But a nice first down and a pickup on that throw.
Yeah, and this is where as coaches, you're looking for effort and execution. Even though the scoreboard is going against you, you want to find out who's going to fight, who's going to scrap, who's going to keep their heads up and continue to play.
And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
And that's a nice catch there. Remember, he had the fumble earlier. No way he was giving up the ball in that situation. Secured it tight to his body and picks up the first down.
To the air again, Smith. He's going to hit his man out of the backfield, complete. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
Second down and 3.
Throwing now is Geno.
That's into the hands of his tight end Bowers.
And he's brought to the ground with another first down at the Chargers' 19. Give him 10 yards there as this offense is on a roll. This drive continues to plunge forward.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here. A little eager there coming in from his outside linebacker position.
You think the hard count got him there?
Yes.
Maybe that extra hut, you know, that extra emphasis on it, got him to jump, and they picked up 5 yards.
So a 1st and 5 now after the 5-yard penalty from the neutral zone infraction. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry.
And the Raiders are going to have a 1st and goal forthcoming as he takes this down to about the 5-yard line.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. Here's Smith. And that's going to be caught for a Raider touchdown. Jacoby Myers, a 5-yard touchdown.
And the Raiders are finally into the end zone here in this 4th quarter. So a little bit of a letdown there defensively. I mean, look, you're still 2 scores to the good, CD, but things may be a little more uncomfortable than they had hoped.
Yeah, if you'd kept him out of the end zone there, this game's over. You've locked the door on him. Instead, it's still open a little bit, and they've got a puncher's chance.
Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And it makes the score 21-10. Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson.
And a decent return out to the 27-yard line.
Here's the Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this fourth quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down.
Max Crosby blowing up the play and getting the sack. That time, finally, a measure of revenge as they get him down behind the line.
It almost felt like relief, didn't it? Because with the success he's had throughout this game, you'd almost expect him to get free and pick up 10 to 15 every time he takes off. Not in that case. That has to feel good for the defense.
To the left side, he's got McConkey.
And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. So the completion results there in 9 yards. And 3rd and 8 now. He's been a busy man here in this one, and they're showing off some nice footwork to stay in bounds.
And with those types of catches and the volume that we've seen in this game, wouldn't you keep him busy as well?
I would.
Of course. You got to keep throwing it to him. He keeps making plays.
And they're going to mark him down short, maybe by about a yard, if that. So the completion good for 6 yards, and that'll bring up 4th down.
I thought they might take a shot down the field, but instead they ran a little drag route there. I think they were hoping he could catch it and run away from the defender. But a really good job keeping the play in front of them, and they force a 4th down.
On is the punter Scott here as he gets this one away.
It's a 45-yard punt, just a 1-yard return.
And it'll be Raiders football, 1st and 10. Here's Las Vegas ready to take the field. Well, still a long way to go, but trending upward. They scored the last time out, you remember. Then their defense forced the punt. Now they try to inch closer, but still ultimately down 2 scores in the final quarter.
Now it's Smith. And they're going to get this beyond the 40 before he's taken down. Turns out to be a great idea to tuck that one. Good for 24 yards.
Well, that turned out better than most of the passes he could have thrown on that snap. The coverage downfield was excellent, but the containment close to home left him a backdoor escape, and they paid dearly for not locking up.
On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Not a huge carry there on 1st down, but not all of them will be. But still, all in all, a positive play for the offense. It's all about picking up at least a few to set up what you're going to do here on 2nd down.
Ball spotted at the 45. Here's a 2nd and 7.
Smith now to throw. Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. That one will go as a gain of 11. Raiders having a 1st down as well.
Well, every drive from here out is definitely crucial and critical. They know that they need to get at least 3 here to get it back to a 1-score game. But I can't imagine that in their huddle that they're thinking at all about getting a field goal. They want to get into the end zone and then try and get the ball back again.
Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling.
For as many sacks as this defense has, you can understand their willingness to try and get upfield and get another. So what a really smart play call here to use their aggression against them, go with the screen, and they're able to get the 1st down.
To throw is Smith. That's caught by Myers. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20. Clock management definitely critical here if they want to get back in this game.
Absolutely agreed. They have to up the tempo in this case, down a couple of scores. Want to make sure they have a chance to win this ball game.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal.
And he was able to shed 1 tackle but could not get away from there.
It'll be a pickup of 4, and it brings up 2nd and goal.
That's good power football on 1st and goal. A lot of teams will throw from there, but that's a nice job to chew up a few more yards and get yourself closer to the goal line.
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. Here's Smith. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away.
Well, if you're going to give out a little applause on that play, it has to go to the defense. More good work by them. They've taken away the passing lanes all game long, and you can see the frustration that it's causing because he just about threw that one into the first row.
A lot of tired bodies on that field, but this is a big play, 3rd and goal. Now Smith. And this is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. Jacoby Myers with now 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. And the Raiders have made it a one-score game again here in the 4th. Well, time to let those folks know who are tuning in looking for the late local news. And we may be a moment because we've got a game again.
And, partner, except for those on the West Coast where it'll be seen in its regular time, right? That's the way it works, doesn't it? But how about that? Big-time drive right there. If they're going to have any chance, they needed a touchdown there, and they went right down the field and worked their way into the end zone.
Following the touchdown, ready to kick it away is Carlson.
And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line.
And the Chargers coming out of the field now. This game is really flipped on its head. 2 unanswered touchdowns by the other side, and now they take over here with just a very slim one-score lead.
And we've seen this how many times now? Teams get a big lead, they go into coast mode, and all of a sudden they're scrambling and battling for a win down the stretch. They've got to put something together right here, otherwise they're in danger of doing the old snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. We'll put that one in the win column for the defense. Trying to contain tight ends in the passing game is so difficult nowadays, but they did in a big way there.
Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on 2nd down. Now it's Herbert. He gets it complete to Harris. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Five points of contact necessary at this stage as they'll run on 1st down.
And now right out of the 2-minute break, we'll get a timeout used defensively with 1:56 to go. This, in all probability, another run here on 2nd and 8.
He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball.
Now the Raiders going to go ahead and use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play.
Heavy set out there on 3rd and 1.
They'll keep it on the ground. Hampton, he's not going to get there. That won't even be close. It was blown up in the backfield. Now the Raiders going to burn their 3rd and final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Here's J.K. Scott now as he'll come on for his 5th kick of the night. And this is going to be ruled out, I think, just inside the 20. Yes, it will. Side judge calls it at the 19-yard line. So now London down by a field goal. 1:44 to go. How will they come up on 1st down?
Here's Smith.
His throw incomplete. This defense has watched their lead dwindle away. This is where they really need to bow up. They executed well there.
And it's often hard after you've played really well early and then you kind of relax a little bit to step on the gas again. They just did it on the last play. Looks like they want to finish this one off.
Smith. That one complete to Trey Tucker.
And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line.
That's a nice job right there, partner, because they were able to work down the middle of the field, working in the seams, because I think defensively they were guarding the sidelines, trying to keep them from getting out of bounds. They took what they gave them, and it was successful.
Smith's going to throw it.
And his throw here's incomplete.
Whew, that's certainly not the worst thing. It stops the clock and lets your offense catch its breath and lets us exhale a little bit. Now I expect them to call a couple plays in the huddle, so they're ready if a tackle happens inbounds.
They'll try again here. 2nd and 10. Smith to throw. This is caught by Tucker.
And he's brought to the ground with another first down at the Chargers' 31-yard line. Boy, how do you let a guy get that wide open in the 2-minute drill?
There's absolutely no way that that's coached or taught. That's an absolute complete breakdown on that play.
Final minute. No timeouts at their disposal. Here's 1st and 10.
Open man is Myers.
Sometimes it's hard to figure, but you can live with incompletions in this situation. You can't live with these short gains that take time off the clock.
You know who loves it? This defense.
Here comes 2nd down.
Now it's Smith.
To the sideline and incomplete.
Couple extra defensive backs out there in the dime, and because of that, really not many places to throw the football, if any.
And typically, what would you want to do against that dime?
Run the football.
You want to run the ball, but you can't do it in this situation. Not nearly enough time on the clock. You're having to really navigate against a tough defense presented against you.
The Chargers going to signal for the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. So a big one coming now for Daniel Carlson. This to potentially send us to overtime. Carlson able to put this one through. And they will tie this game here in the final seconds. So a money kick there in the final seconds. And now, barring any hijinks on the kickoff here, partner, I think you and I, we're going to settle in for a little overtime.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. This has been a dogfight all through regulation. No reason to think it won't continue in the extra period.
So overtime on the horizon, barring a wild finish here as the kick's away.
And with time a factor here late, he'll just take a knee, and they'll start things out at the 25.
And the LA offense ready for this next possession. And Charles, obviously not much time left. I'm curious to see if there's enough for them to get into field goal range and try to win this thing.
And partner, you and I both know the safe calls to kneel and just take it into overtime. But it's also very tough to pass up a chance to win it right now as well. But remember, if you do attempt that, it's got to be a big play downfield and still leave yourself enough time to get your field goal unit out there and kick for the win. All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
Herbert.
And that is incomplete. 2 seconds left on the clock.
Incomplete pass there is probably the best scenario going, because if he catches the football, clock's probably going to run out in that situation.
Herbert.
Throwing middle, but it's incomplete. So 4 quarters wasn't enough, and we are off to overtime. Don't change that dial.
So 4 quarters couldn't settle a winner, and now the Chargers going to get the first opportunity here in OT as the kick is away. And out a little across the 25 to the 27. The Charger drive about to get going. And the points, they have come fast and furious in this quarter.
You really don't want to be on the defensive side of the ball right now, do you? Because you're either thinking, my replacement may get an opportunity.
Your head better be on a swivel.
Totally. Or maybe I just need to get out of the game for a while because I just can't slow these guys down. They've got to figure out a way to disrupt these offenses. And typically, one guy makes a big play, and that can help change things.
They'll be looking for disruption on both sides right now.
77 yards rushing now as he's done it on 22 carries.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. Keeping the aggression going on defense in overtime here, a 1st down blitz.
You know you can get burned on it big time if they pick it up. But in this situation, they brought the blitz, put some pressure on the QB, and he wasn't able to complete a pass downfield.
Opening drive of overtime. Both teams will get a possession, barring a defensive score. Here's 2nd down.
He's airing it out for Williams. This is caught inside the 15. And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. A huge play there in overtime. 57 yards. So often in overtime, Charles, games are won or lost on one big play. That might have been that big play right there.
And the ability to execute it despite the stakes, because let's face it, we've been there before, and we've seen guys, maybe they hyperventilate a little bit when it's their opportunity. Not in this situation. They executed it calmly, and they really got it done.
And now they're set up in prime position. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd down.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
That is caught. Touchdown. They strike first here in the overtime session.
And all about timing there on that short slant, Charles.
Exactly right. That was timed up so well. The route, the throw, touchdown.
Extra point try now from Dicker.
And it's good. That makes it a 28-21 game.
Here's Dicker now as he'll send this one away. And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30. The Vegas offense ready for their next possession.
And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want to drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants to drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
Call it a gain of 3 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. Off of play action, here's Smith. Nothing open downfield. He keeps it himself for 11 and a 1st down.
This is where the NFL is headed year by year, partner. A league where just about everyone has someone under center who can get you with their legs as well as their arm. And we've certainly had a nice display of that from both QBs in this game. And that continued with that 1st down run.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith.
That's caught by Tucker.
And he's able to get this one down to the 40-yard line. Another big hitter there. This one good for 18.
And that play came together really well for them as he found open space, makes the catch, and gets down to the 1-yard line. You know he's kicking himself right now. He thought he had a chance to get a touchdown and put that in his ledger. Instead, his team gets a chance to cash in over these next few plays.
He's going to air one out. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
I usually hesitate when I say a guy's got world-class speed, but this guy might. So let's fire the starter's pistol. Let's go. If you've got him, you've got to try and use him. A lot of anticipation with the ball in the air, but no, incomplete.
Smith. And that'll be incomplete. Took a pretty good shot as he tried to pull that one in. Couldn't hang on, third down.
As soon as he leaked out and began his route, someone on the defensive side broke with him and arrived just in time to separate him from another reception.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Play action. It's Smith. And a loss of 3 to bring up 4th. Here we go on 4th. Smith. And it's going to be batted down. It will go the other way with a football.
Another one in the books for his partner. Always great to be by your side. And look, both offenses, both defenses had some moments in this one, but I think you would agree these coaching staffs are also going to have some stuff to clean up on film.
Absolutely, partner, and let's face it, any game we get to watch from up here, it's going to be a blast. Do we want to get a real job? Absolutely not. Let's keep watching the NFL all season long.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports.
With that, we say good night from Las Vegas.